Do you want better people skills? And have you ever read any of the Go Giver books? In this video, I'm going to be talking about those two subjects. And it's a review of one of the books in the Go Giver series, specifically the Go Giver Sell More. And I'm going to be sharing my lessons, aha moments, and also story from this book. So the first aha moment I had throughout this book came quite quick. It came like 5 minutes into the book. And it was when they mentioned, if you want better people skills, be a person. And this was so simple. I was like, but it makes a lot of sense. And I think a lot of us forget the philosophy of just being a person because it's so simple, because we're caught up in all these tactics and strategies of how can we become better, what kind of small tweaks can we do to interact better with people and guide the conversation the way we want it to go. For example, of course, there is tactics and strategies that really work to get better at interacting. For example, if you have to ask the right questions, it's not really good to ask, what do you mean by freedom? It's a lot better to ask, so I'm really curious what you mean by freedom. Or you mentioned freedom early in the conversation, and could you help me to understand what you meant by that? Those are two examples of something you put onto the question to make it less blunt, and that would help people to also be more open with you because it doesn't feel like an interrogation. And I think the biggest lesson I had from this book was they constantly talk about people that have gotten successful from giving, and also they give you constant reminders, be curious about the other person. It's not about me, but it's about you, or them, whatever you want to say. Those constant reminders just help me to be more aware when I'm interacting with it's a customer, a prospect, whatever. It helps me to be aware of when I'm focusing on me, and focusing on them. And this has just helped my interactions. It's still I finished the book actually yesterday. So I've implemented throughout reading it, but still early stage, but already it helped me so much. Just the way I'm more aware now of when I'm focusing on me instead of them. And I'm definitely recommending this book to anybody. Since this book is not really about selling, it's more about building great relationships. But of course, you can easily use those relationships to sell more. And as promised at the start of this video, I'm going to share a story with you. And this story is about a woman that always tried to make people smile. And she was working at this accounting firm. And her colleagues had gave her a challenge to make this one client they had who was a veterinarian, let's call him John, to make him smile. This guy wouldn't even walk out of his car. He would just honk his horn and wait them to come out with the report. So she of course accepted the challenge, and the first couple of months she didn't really make any progress. We're about halfway into the year at this point, and she had made him smile a little bit because he was, as I mentioned, a veterinarian and always had his dogs with him. And the dogs kind of took a liking to her. So a little smile, and he was trying to soften up a little bit, but not really. She was not really getting anywhere. She definitely wasn't getting to the target where she wanted to go to make this guy smile. And now, another lot of months go by, about 6 months, and at the end of the year, and she is filled up with work because an accounting firm at the end of the year, they need to do the yearly report, which takes a lot of effort. And she hadn't given this guy any thoughts. Like, she didn't even think about the Christmas holidays because she was so caught up in her work. Just sitting there and going through all these papers, and all of a sudden, she looks up, and then John is standing in the doorway with a cane and a present to her and a huge smile on his face. And he hops over to her, and he's like, thank you so much for being so cheerful when I was going through my bad times this August, and when my hump was so bad, I was embarrassed just to walk. So this guy didn't go out the car, not to be rude, but he barely couldn't walk. And had gone through a hard time because, as I mentioned, he was so embarrassed. But this lovely woman was just always giving some sort of positivity into his life. And this story has a lot of profound lessons, and the first one I want to share with you is you never know people's backstory. And of course, that's the thing we need to be thoughtful of. That we don't know why people are doing things, so we need to slow down on judging them and not being so judgmental. So that's all I have for you today. And I really hope you gain some value from this video, and so, I don't get any commissions, and I really hope you go on Amazon or Audible or whatever to buy this book, just because it helped me so much. And until next time, keep crushing it.